Hello everyone, welcome back to e-learning. So today we're going to focus on natural sciences again. This is part two of the previous video. And in the previous videos, I spoke to you about energy. What was energy? We knew that it was the ability to do work. Then I told you about the sources of energy, and then I told you from the sources of energy, we were able to identify them into renewable energy and non-renewable energy. And then we spoke about the South African context of how our energy crisis and how we can solve our energy crisis. And I also spoke to you about how energy impacts the environment. So pause it right now, reflect about what we learned in the previous video. So it helps you to remember and it works in your working memory, it improves your working memory. And then we can continue with energy systems. Okay, so let's get cracking. So now we have what an energy system is. So an energy system is basically how energy is transferred or transformed from one system to another. So basically, you know that energy is the ability to do work. So, like for example, if I have potential energy, that means my food in my body is stored in my body. So it's called potential energy. Now, when I want to do an action, like if I want to go for a run or for a cycle or for a hike, or if I want to do some sort of schoolwork to create these videos for you, I need to perform an action. So when I'm performing an action, that stored energy converts to chemical energy and it allows me to now move to, and that also moves to movement energy, which is kinetic energy. So you can see that there's not just two systems related in one action or one um, in something or anything. You can have more than two or three energy systems in one function. Okay, so like I just described. So now let's just say what you need to know in this section is that the energy systems, you need to know what goes in, which is the input. You need to know the process, which is what happens, and then what comes out, which is the output. So the process causes an action, and the action gives you a result, and the result is an output. All right. So now you know the different energy systems, and they can all be interlinked with each other. You can have more than one system when you want to do something. So you have your potential energy, then you have mechanical energy. So your potential energy is stored energy. Mechanical energy, for example, is like in your bicycle. If you turn the pedals around, action of turning the pedals is mechanics. But as the bicycle moves, then you know that it is kinetic energy because that's a moving bicycle now. So the action is mechanical energy. Okay. So now, then we have kinetic energy, which is movement, biological energy, which is your the food in your body, excuse me, which turns into chemical energy. Then we have thermal energy, which is heat energy, and electrical energy, which is used to power your devices. All right. So now we have potential versus kinetic energy. Now we know that potential energy is stored energy because it has the potential to do something. Right now it is just still, it is stored, it's non-moving. Then we have a conversion process that converts the potential energy into moving energy. Okay, so that is the process, that converting process, conversion. So we have kinetic energy, which is like running, jumping, hiking, anything that is flowing, anything that is in action. Okay, then we have now the different energy systems we have, like real life examples. We have potential energy, and you need to know this to apply it into the input, the process, and the output flow diagram that I showed you earlier on, because that is a really great exam question where I can ask you in a flow diagram, explain the process of something, something, something. Okay, so now, like for example, here I have potential energy. So here we have a bless you, below an arrow we have battery, water in a dam, and a roller coaster. So I'm going to explain the input, process, and output using the battery. So the input basically is stored energy in the battery. Then the process is a chemical reaction that occurs when you power on a device because now the battery is in action. And then the output is basically the power that goes into the device. Like for example, if you switch the television on, then your favorite program will come on. Or if you start the lawnmower, then the motor will start running and the grass can be cut. Or if you switch the light on, then the light will start. Okay, so now that potential energy is always when an action occurs to it, then it's going to change. Then we have kinetic energy. Now, kinetic energy is like a soccer ball, a moving car, wind, flowing water. Then we have thermal energy, that is cooking food, the steam engine, the body heat, and solar panels. Mechanical energy is bicycles, scissors, cranes, and wrenches. So what I'd like you to do is to pause the video, and you can think about how the different systems can be used in each of these real life examples that I gave you. And then you can jot down the input, the process, and the output for this. Now, I wrote it down for you, but you need to just put it into that flow diagrams. And it's really nice for you to learn because they're really good exam questions. Okay. Then biological systems is plant where photosynthesis is made. Then we have the human muscle, we have the brain function, and we have tree growths. And then electrical systems is the light bulb, smartphones, electrical heaters, and speakers. So what I did for you in this next slide is I explained each of the things that I showed you about. Like for example, we have mechanical energy. So now we have riding a bicycle. Now the input is the food that because you are going to be riding the bicycle. So you are using chemical energy from your body, and the process, your body turns the chemical energy into movement. Your muscles starts moving, and then the output is that the bicycle moves forward using kinetic energy. So the energy conversion that is taking place is chemical to kinetic energy. Okay, and then you can also say that initially before your body turned your chemical energy, uh, turned the food into chemical energy. The food energy was actually potential energy, which was stored energy. And then when the movement started, the chemical reaction occurred, chemical energy moved, and it went into kinetic energy. So that was three different systems just by riding a bicycle. Okay. So now we have thermal energy. Now, let's take, for example, boiling water, a kettle. Now, the kettle is using electricity. Now, the electricity is changed into heat by heating an element. And the output is that the water becomes hot and induced thermal energy. And the energy conversion here is the electrical energy and that was the input. Then I explained what the process was, and your output was the thermal energy, which is heat energy. Then we're going to look at the electrical energy system like a light bulb. Now the input is electrical energy. Your process is the flow of electricity through the filament or an LED light bulb, and then the output is going to give you light or thermal energy. Now you know a light bulb gives you both light energy and it also gives you a little bit of heat. Right, so photosynthesis in plants, like now for example, we're going to use the green plant in sunlight. Now, let's look at the input. You're getting sunlight, water, carbon dioxide. Now, the process, now that is radiant energy. Okay, so your process, your plants are using sunlight to make food, which is photosynthesis, and your output is chemical energy. So, what you're getting basically is oxygen and glucose. Glucose is plant food, right? Now we have battery powered systems like, for example, a torch. So your input is chemical energy. The process is the battery changes the chemical energy into electrical energy. And then the output that you're getting is heat energy, which is also called thermal energy, and you're getting light energy. Okay, now combustion, like for example, a petrol car or car engine. So now here your input that you're getting is chemical energy. So that you are putting petrol into the car. Then the process is that the car burns the fuel through combustion. And then your output is your movement, which is kinetic energy, and it gives off heat and gas, which is also called kinetic and thermal energy. Okay, now, what I did for you is I summarized all the energy systems to you on your left. I gave you all the examples. I told you what the inputs were, the processes, the outputs, and the energy conversions. So what would be nice is if that you can pause the video, copy this down, or take a screenshot and learn it, because I'm sure you will definitely get at least 2 or 3 of these in your exams. Okay, I hope you liked the video. I hope it helped you understand the conversions and the processes. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in my next video. Bye everyone. Have a lovely day.